Hi, I'm Rachel. Thank you so much for being here. In today's video, I'm really going to dive into the differences between Metamorphosis and Online Studio. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because so many of you have left comments about your experience with Metamorphosis, but maybe you're looking to see if Online Studio makes sense for you. And I do want to thank those of you that did encourage me to try Online Studio. I'm over a week into it and absolutely loving it. And I still have to scratch the surface, but for today, I'm going to give you the high points on what the big differences are so that you can decide if you want to give it a try or maybe even you want to commit to it. This amazes me what a die-hard following Tracy Anderson has and how excited I am to be a part of that following, because I have never felt better working out every single day, really enjoying the continued results I'm seeing without the aching, without the soreness. I have never experienced that before. Now, if there is one major theme within the Tracy Anderson community, it can be boiled down to one word, and that would be trust. Trust Tracy, trust the process, trust that the results will come. And I've had to remind myself of this because I am so used to having intense workouts, intense circuit training where I am aching. And I realize that I have a strong correlation between pain and gain, that pain and seeing results. Whereas now in following Tracy Anderson, I certainly feel a type of burning, a type of soreness at times, but it's not painful. It feels good. And I have to kind of retrain myself to see that I can actually experience results and feel great and be improving and feel great. Whereas for so long, I associated improving with feeling pain. So I like to open with how important it is to trust Tracy, because I found that's been helpful for me to continue on this path. And I want to thank so many of you for reminding me to stick with it, because it is so easy for us to just get distracted by the next big thing or wanting instant results. Whereas this is a very much go slow to go fast. And I'm seeing that the results are sticking. And again, I feel phenomenal. Getting off topic there a little bit, today's video is really about the major differences between Metamorphosis and Online Studio. And in this, you'll also be able to see if you do decide to trial or do Online Studio, you'll be able to get off to a fast start. Whereas I think for the most part, it can be a little bit confusing to see how to best approach it. Going into the Online Studio trial, I thought $90 a month for a streaming workout is outrageous. $90 would get you a full-on gym membership with all sorts of benefits. That's one of the reasons why I was hesitant to even try it. But already, I've got to tell you, I am hooked. And I'm actually canceling my gym membership and will fully focus on the Tracy Anderson Online Studio even after my trial ends. So the Online Studio does not follow the body type framework that Metamorphosis does. So with Metamorphosis, you would take a quiz, or you could just kind of identify on your own which body type you are. And based on that, you would choose the program. Again, glute-centric, omnicentric, ab-centric, and others. With the Online Studio, that goes out the window. Now, there are some resources that help get to those problem areas that you can leverage, but it does not use the body type as the way to choose which path you're going to follow. Instead, there are lanes. There is a beginner lane, an intermediate lane, and an advanced lane. There's also a program available called Catalyst. Catalyst itself consists of 30 minutes of muscular structure, 30 minutes of dance cardio. Sound familiar? It's very much like Metamorphosis and allows you to get a great workout within an hour time frame. Beginner also offers a 30-minute muscular structure, and of course you could supplement with dance cardio as well. And on the Online Studio, there is a library of cardio to choose from. So with beginner, you just start with that 30-minute muscular structure, and then if you'd like to, you can also add that dance cardio, and there is a wide offering available on the site for that. Now with intermediate, you're looking at an hour of muscular structure. And same with Attain. You're looking at about an hour, and then you can also supplement with that dance cardio or even a cardio of your choosing. So already you can see one big difference between Online Studio and Metamorphosis is that aside from beginner, we're going from 30 minutes of muscular structure workout to an hour. And this had me quite nervous to even give it a shot because I thought 30 minutes is challenging enough, and now to boost it up to an hour, I don't know if I'll be able to survive through that. The second big difference is the rep count. When it came to Metamorphosis, most of the moves, you were looking at 20 to 40 reps in a move. And by, especially the ones where you're doing 40 reps, it was holy burn. Whereas with the Online Studio, I'm finding that most of the moves have 15 to 20 reps. So I can tough it out so much more with the Online Studio than I did with Metamorphosis, where you'll see in my previous videos, I would talk about how I would take breaks now and then because it just burned too much. Whereas with this hour workout, although it's a longer workout, there aren't as many reps and it's more reasonable for me to actually push through it. So if you're somebody that is looking to try Tracy Anderson's Online Studio, maybe you're already familiar with her program, you are skilled at it, say you're like me and you're coming off of Metamorphosis and looking to continue on with a more current offering, then you'd likely want to skip over beginner and go right into intermediate if you are versed in Tracy Anderson. If not, you probably want to start with that 30-minute beginner and continue with that. Another big difference between Metamorphosis and the Tracy Anderson Online Studio is that with Metamorphosis, you're following the workout for 10 days in a row, where with the Online Studio, she comes out with a new workout once a week. So every Wednesday night, I can't say specifically which time, but every Wednesday night, she releases a new workout. And usually the first few days of that workout, you're getting acquainted with it. And towards the end of the week, you're really mastering the exercise. So it really allows you to know what to expect, which is great, just like Metamorphosis, but instead of 10 days, you're looking at 7 days of that same workout. Another notable difference with Online Studio, especially, at least in the intermediate offering, is that there's much more emphasis on arms. We spend a lot more time on arms, and I'm noticing the difference there. It feels like my arms are lengthening and burning and getting stronger in a very effective way, and I'm really excited to see how that will look over time. Another big difference that was even noted by a viewer in the comments was that instead of all sorts of different camera angles as you would see in the Metamorphosis program, with this you really have one point of view. You're basically looking as if you're behind Tracy. And I found surprisingly that I prefer this because it's consistent. Now, even though you can follow the program from behind Tracy, she does offer views where you can view it from the front. But just with that mirror aspect where when you're following somebody facing them, I would get confused as far as like which side I could follow. For instance, if I'm facing her and she's using her right arm, it would take me a second to realize I need to follow along with my right arm too, just because I wanted to reflect her. Whereas when I'm facing from the back view, it's actually easier for me to follow along. But if you prefer to view from the front, they do offer that. So basically how that works is depending on which lane you go into, beginner, intermediate, or advanced, you'll see different offerings for what to go into. You could look at the full workout, you could look at the front view, you could also go into the breakdown where she basically has one of her trainers break down the different moves in the workout and explain why certain details are so crucial. But there are different views, but for the most part, you're looking at one singular view for most of the workouts, whereas old school Metamorphosis, you would just see all these different angles at any given time to just give you a more 360 experience, where I found, especially now that I'm in Online Studio, that could actually make things more challenging. Another big difference with Online Studio is that there's different equipment. Before with Metamorphosis, it only required 3-pound weights, whereas in Online Studio, at least for intermediate, I have 3-pound weights. I have 1.5-pound ankle weights, so 1.5 pounds on each ankle. And then I also have 3-pound ankle weights. So 3 pound on each ankle. And for Attain, which is more of the advanced offering, it also requires a chair. And sometimes a broomstick. I haven't gone through the advanced, or as I call it, the Attain lane. I haven't done that yet, but I do know there's other equipment required. Other helpful equipment that you may want to invest in if you're doing online studio, or even really Metamorphosis even, this was even called out by a viewer, Stephanie, was to include a mat, a soft mat that you can have underneath your knees to really protect your knees. That's really important. Another great difference between the online studio offering and Metamorphosis is that in the online studio offering, at the end of each muscular structure workout, Tracy Anderson has basically a class talk at the end, and she covers a variety of topics related to the workout, but really just gives you helpful perspective. One of the things recently she talked about was even how her method is really, really ideal for those who are looking to commit to something that isn't going to degenerate their body. There's so many workouts out there that are known to impact bone density and actually deplete bone density. And that her method supports long-term results, not just with bone density, but also with how your muscle and your skin even binds together. And from an anti-aging perspective, how important that is. And that's one of the things that she shared where I thought, I know that I've seen some lifelong fitness gurus and their body looks weathered and it looks like their body's kind of out of proportion. And I really can appreciate that Tracy Anderson's physique looks so youthful. Her skin is beautiful. She's very proportionate. It's very much a natural look, which I really like. And so I'm really looking forward to, with each week, each workout released, that there's going to be some insight that Tracy shares. I so appreciate how unique her approach is, and I'm just very curious to hear her perspective on a variety of topics. It's kind of like a nice treat to look forward to. So that's a major difference that I see in Metamorphosis and online studio, is that Tracy continues to provide valuable insight, which I really seek to learn. So that's more of a lengthy explanation of the two different platforms, Metamorphosis and online studio. But even if we were to dive down further into the big differences, we could talk through how there's a locker room on the Tracy Anderson studio. And that locker room is basically a community forum in which members will ask questions and other members will answer those questions. It's a great place for you to share your experience or learn about the experiences from others. And that's really been a helpful area for me to just understand how to best maximize the online studio. So that's something that you don't get with Metamorphosis, that you do with online studio, that I think is very powerful. I think even in the videos I've posted, it's almost as if we've created our own locker room forum, because so many of you have shared your experiences and asked questions, and you get that on a much bigger scale on the online studio locker room offering that she has, which I think is just brilliant. There's also that cardio library I mentioned. So with Metamorphosis, you really have one type of cardio you're to follow every day, whereas there is a huge offering in the cardio library. But I found that there's certain instructors where they're much easier to follow than others. I've tried just random dance cardio workouts in that cardio library, and some instructors, to me, it feels like they're making it up as they're going along, which can be very difficult to follow. And then there's other instructors where I can follow along with them. There's kind of a pattern they take on, and it reduces confusion, because I am not a dancer. I don't have a dance background. Now, don't get me wrong. I have rhythm. I love to dance, but in the formal dance classes, being able to remember a routine very quickly, that is not me. I mentioned that there's Catalyst that's offered in the online studio. So that's for those days where you don't have an hour and a half to fit our muscular structure of intermediate or advanced in your day, and you don't have an extra 30 minutes to do the cardio. With Catalyst, there's 25 minutes of cardio, 25 minutes of muscular structure, which is so very similar to that Metamorphosis approach. of that 30-30. In this case, it's more 25-25. Something else that's offered in an online studio, which I really appreciate, is the bonus material. So there's bonus content that gives you different add-ons, and these are 15-minute body-specific add-ons where Tracy has created specific sequences for your body type. That may be ab-centric, glute-centric, hip-centric, or omni-centric, to serve as a supplement to your beginner, intermediate, or advanced mat class programming. So when we say mat class, we're referring to that muscular structure exercise. I haven't tried those yet, but I plan on doing that in the coming weeks on those days where I may have some extra time. There's also some 15-minute cardio bonus material. So if you don't have a full 30 minutes to do dance cardio, there's some options for 15 minutes. There's TA ball customized body add-ons, and that's when you would use a special small ball accessory. You could also replace that with a rolled up towel, and that also ties into that hip-centric, omni-centric, ab-centric, or glute-centric offering to really just target those areas. And then lastly, in that bonus material, Tracy has her super class. Now that is a 2-hour, truly a 2-hour live class that's been recorded and you can follow along. I do look to try this at some point, but for now, 2 hours seems very daunting to do 2 hours all at once, but something I will certainly look into. Now that super class itself, if you were to actually register for the live version, is $50. So the fact that you have that included in the trial and also of course in the paid version is really encouraging. That's a really nice bonus to have. So that's really a high overview of the difference between Metamorphosis and the Tracy Online Studio. Really with Metamorphosis, you have that 30 minutes of muscular structure workout that changes every 10 days. You're supplementing that with the 30 minutes dance cardio. That really is what Metamorphosis consists of. You're doing that every day for 10 days before you go on to another level. Whereas with the online studio, with the exception of the beginner lane, you have an hour of muscular structure or that mat workout every day for a week before you're offered a new workout. And of course, there is a cardio library where you can supplement that muscular structure workout with cardio. But in the talks I've seen from Tracy, she really encourages you to prioritize muscular structure over cardio. So if you can get to cardio, great, but be sure to prioritize that mat workout. And then if you're really short on time and you want to get a little bit of both in, that's where you can actually do the multitask workout where you got 25 minutes of the mat workout and you have 25 minutes of cardio and you can just knock it out in under an hour. Only being a little over a week into this, I'm already noticing that I feel so much more lengthened. There's so many more lengthening exercises I'm seeing in online studio than with the Metamorphosis ab-centric program I did. I feel so much more challenged by using the ankle weights, but not at all overwhelmed. I really enjoy the workout so much more now that there's not as many reps per workout as there were with Metamorphosis. With Metamorphosis, there were times where doing those 40 reps was just too much for me and I would pause. Whereas with this, we're changing into different workouts and I'm really able to push through so much more doing 15 to 20 reps versus those 40. So I hope this video was helpful for you if you're looking to evaluate the online studio or even to see if you should stick with Metamorphosis or try Metamorphosis as an alternative. Both are great offerings, but again, as I look to really commit to Tracy Anderson's method, this has been fantastic for me and I will continue with it. I will continue to explore the online studio, but for now, I really hope this helps you in evaluating if you want to trial it for yourself. I gotta tell you, I'm so excited to share more detailed results about my experience, but I can attest to the fact that I'm so glad I chose the online studio and I'm trying this out because there's just so much rich content in that and I only have the trial version. I will be proceeding to the paid version and look forward to seeing how much more is unlocked with that. But in closing, really just want to thank you for being here. Really want to thank you for your support. Each like, each comment, I so sincerely appreciate. And I appreciate you joining me in this journey. I foresee that in the next few weeks, I'll continue providing updates around this. along with other things I'm doing that are really making a difference in how I approach my fitness, how I approach my quality of life, and that much more. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next time.